Here are some highlights of this program.
Hello everybody.
Welcome to Brainstorm exclusive interview.
Our education should be corrected, adapted, and updated.
Live better, they can send their children to school because they can interact with their authorities.
Mechanics, electricity, computer science, innovation,
And we know that is a brainstorm.
You yourself, after watching this interesting program, notice the final statement made by our notable guest, a brand new one. Hello everybody and welcome to Brainstorm Broadcast. I am Guy Tombe from Kinshasa City, Democratic Republic of Congo. In today's program, we explore a pressing global issue, economic stability in the third world countries. In this episode, we will analyze challenges, opportunities, and strategies that shape the economic growth and stability of developing nations. Stay with us as we uncover stories, experts' insights, and some of ideas that ever changed the world. So please stay with us as we develop this program. Join me now on this set is Jean Sele. Hello, sir.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks to God. We are still keeping.
This is the very first time you get here on the stage to discuss this issue.
Yes, that's it.
Jean Sele is a teacher of English in Université de Kinshasa, especially in English department, and is also one of the members of our developing promoting English in the Democratic Republic of Congo, right? We're going to discuss this relevant issue, economic stability in the third world countries. So we want to kick it off. Let's start with the first question. What are some factors of economic stability in the country?
Thank you very much, Mr. Journalist, for the question. So to be honest with you, factors of economic stability in the country are really numerous. If really we take time to cite all of them, I think we will go over time. But to be short and clear, I'm going to cite only 8 major factors of economic stability. So to say that a country is economically stable, the country should be, first of all, should be stable. It should have a stable political environment, and the second one is we must have also what we call sound fiscal policy. After sound fiscal policy, we must also have the stable inflation. And also we must also have what we call employment and income stability, and also the diversification of the economy. And we must also have what we call trade balance and foreign reserve. And at the end, we must also have what we call investment in human capital. So if only those factors pile up in your country, and then you can beat your chest saying that no, our country is economically stable.
I can see that you dive into a lot of aspects, or even when you try to go through some of the factors of economic stability in the third world countries. But before we move further in this program, we would like you to watch this video highlighting the concept, what is financial stability. Please take a look at this and we'll be back.
Sometimes it's easier to start with what financial stability isn't. Financial stability isn't about preventing failure or stopping people from making or losing money. Financial stability is really about building a financial system that can function in good times, in bad times, that can absorb all the good and bad things that happen in the economy at any moment. The fact is that a dynamic, growing economy like the American economy is full of businesses that are starting, growing, succeeding, and then closing. That's just part of the normal cycle of business. Financial stability is a financial system that meets the needs of average families and businesses to borrow money to buy a house, to buy a car, or to save for retirement or an education. And the same for businesses. Businesses need to be able to expand, build factories, hire new workers, make payroll, All these things require a functioning financial system that frankly works best when most people don't even think about it very much. They just know that they can get a loan, that their savings are safe, that they'll be able to get short-term loans to make payroll, and they don't really need to have to think twice about it.
All right, so now when we talk about economic stability, you think is it a reality or dream in the third world countries?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think economic stability for developing countries is not neither a dream nor a reality. Why? In my viewpoint, that is a moving target. Why? Because if we observe very well in some developing countries, we see that they also face some problems of instability in terms of economy. Reason why I'm saying that this isn't real and it's also a dream. But on the other hand, if you see, for example, most of European countries, they are economically stable when we observe there, even we've never been there. But according to what we hear and people from there, when they come here, we can see that no, they are comparing with what is happening here in most of African countries, they are developed.
So for developing countries, what is the root cause of instability, economic instability?
Okay, causes are also numerous, but for developing countries, the most cause that causes economic stability is the problems of geopolitical tensions. Okay, the problems of geopolitical tensions is what cause many problems in developing countries. For example, we have the problems of war, the problems of immigration. Okay, that is the root cause of economic stability in developing countries.
So can you say, since we cannot name all developing countries, especially in Africa, you think that the Democratic Republic of Congo is also involved in this situation when we talk about economic stability?
Yes, of course, because DRC is also a nation among nations. So when we talk about a nation, it means that we have all sectors there, all sectors exist, and we must also function as all other countries that exist in the world. Reason why we can also include DRC in this affair, okay? In this affair, yes.
So we wonder. I'm not. It's not only I. There are certain people as well who wonder. Since the Democratic Republic of Congo has become independent in 1960, so politically independent, but we can say economically, seems that Congo is not independent because its economy is based on outside. It means it's extrovert. How do you make of it?
Okay, so that problem is not only here in the Republic Democratic of the Congo, but we can also observe that problem in many other countries, especially here in our mainland Africa. So why are most of African countries economic extrovert? Because those countries never produce. Normally, the economy should be based on a local production rather than a foreign investment. Because if you produce here in the country and you export some product, that will help you, okay, share the economic growth. But if you never produce here locally, I'm making sure that will be very impossible for you to enhance your economy or to increase your economy. It's very important to produce here in order to assure what's the economic growth.
All right, so to be pragmatic, to be objective, when you make this analysis, it seems right that we produce less, but we invest or even we want to just bring some products from outside. But it seems a problem lies as well in Congolese mindset. Even though Congolese businessmen produce here, farmers and so forth, but their mindset is that they they don't take just they don't want to promote local productions. What could be done just to change that mentality?
So to change Congolese mentality about this, we who are intellectuals, first of all, we must awake people about business. And I personally, as a teacher, we must stop teaching people theories. We must teach them how to do business, how to create jobs. Okay? If only we teach them like that from their childhood until they grow up, I'm making sure this country will really change and will really develop. This is what is happening over there elsewhere. Okay, elsewhere people involve more in creating enterprises, ventures. That is what is developing their countries. Because if you develop you create, for example, a venture or an enterprise, one day you will be paying taxes. So the fact of paying taxes, that also help the government increase the budget.
All right, so let's give an example.
Yeah.
For instance, here we have Congo River, we have many lakes, but Congolese businessmen, even Congolese producers or even consumers prefer to buy a fish from abroad, a chicken and so forth, thinking that what is produced here in Congo is less important. When you write made in DRC, people look down on that, thinking that is less important. So how can that mindset be changed? What could be done? As one of those who can analyze things economically speaking, what kind of strategies could be put in place in order to change that way of viewing things?
So first of all, we must advertise what we have. Our legacy, our legacy, heritage, okay? We must advertise it first of all. Because if we look back in high school or secondary school in Norway, so we studied that the lake that produce more fishes is here in our country. So if my man serves me right, I think that is a Lac Albert. Okay, so over there, fish are dying by themselves without being exploited by a fishman. You see, so if only today we take a decision and we implement, okay, a strong policy with that sector of the Ministry of Fish, I think of Peach. Excuse me. I think if we advertise it, people will now understand that no, here in our country there are people who are able to do good things, who can provide also ethical things, which is even more than what white men do, because we are all human.
All right. So now let's focus on investment. There may be local investors or even foreign investors, but when, let's suppose, foreign investors get here in the Democratic Republic of Congo and they want to invest, you think that it would be easier for them taking into or considering a tax payment, other things that could make them make the investment harder for them? And you think this situation could be someday be fixed, because here we want to promote local production to stabilize our economy?
Yeah, of course. You know, in life we can't lose hope just like this. Okay, so one day these things will be fixed, of course. Why? Because our country, we are going through many steps, and we can see that the country is changing. If you observe very well in many different sectors here in our country, you see that the country is really changing. They are changing members of the government, they are changing many people. Why all this change? Because they need the total change for this country. So reason why we can assure all citizens of the Democratic Republic of Congo that one day these things will be fixed, and it's already being done. It's already being done.
All right. We're talking about economic stability in the third world countries, and we also highlight the financial stabilities as an important factor as well. So why are banks so important in any given country? Please take a look at this following video, and we'll be back.
Banking and finance have existed since the dawn of civilization. Throughout history, people have used financial services to make payments and facilitate transactions, manage savings, borrow money, manage and insure against risk, and engage in cross-border business and trade. Many of these services today are provided by banks. And when functioning normally, we have a state of financial stability. However, risks can arise that could threaten that stability. Well-run banks remain safe and sound even when stress events occur, thereby maintaining financial stability. External shocks, which can be global in nature, such as geopolitical conflicts or a pandemic, can cause losses for banks, testing their strength. And banks themselves may take on too much risk and lose sight of their fundamental role in serving society. Banking and other financial crises could disrupt financial services, affecting the job market and sustainable economic growth. And in these times of stress, households and businesses may be unable to borrow, save, or make payments. Therefore, global financial stability requires a safe and sound banking system. But independently developed national rules could lead to a fragmented world and actually weaken global financial stability. while also increasing the costs and lowering the quality of services for consumers and businesses. In an interconnected world, we need a global framework and cross-border cooperation. That's why we have the Basel Committee on Banking Supervision. We provide a forum to promote strong regulation and supervision for banks with a global perspective that goes beyond solely domestic financial stability concerns. Our collective efforts can ensure that financial stability is preserved and strengthened. For more information, visit bis.org/bcbs.
But now, let's take the fact that Congo is a rich country in terms of natural resources, mining, and so forth. But why are its citizens poor? Even though we want to promote local production, we want to stabilize our economy, but we don't see the impact on the ground. We can talk about macro, micro economy, and so forth. Things are stable, so to speak, on a paper, on different statements, but there is no concrete reaction, concrete result on the ground. Population still poor. How can you explain this situation?
So thank you for the question. I think I said earlier, I said that if among those factors of economic stability, one of them is missing, I make sure there is a problem in your economy. There is a problem. So among those factors, I just cite one factor very important. It was about the investment on human capital. It means that the government should provide jobs or create jobs for the population. Because if most of people are working, they are workers, they gain salary at the end of each month, that will also decrease some social tensions. For example, Kuluna's phenomenons and others will be lowered. Why? Because most of people have an occupation. They have occupation, they go to work, they earn some money that help them support their need or meet the need of their family and their relatives. You see? So over there, the government should establish a very strong and concrete strategy, okay, in order to help you find jobs easily. And also to establish a very strong monetary policy, okay, in order to know how to manage spending and foreign debts in order to handle economic shocks.
All right, I can feel that you are an expert, even though I can't say for sure that you're an expert, but you are the one who can easily delve into the matter and try to break it down clearly so that the viewers, even some of other experts, may watch the program and grasp what we are talking about. But here is another point I wanted just to say in terms of question. What is the connection between economic stability and monetary stability? Try to make things clearer. Economic stability and monetary stability as well.
So the economic stability is the realization of all the factors that are required, okay, for a country to be economically stable, that to be in short and more clear. But monetary stability means that it means we must master, okay, the management of different types of banks. And I think you are aware of that. Generally, we have three types of banks. We have what we call saving banks, we have what we call trading banks, and we have what we call central banks. So in our country, for example, let's talk about our country because we are Congolese. The case of our country, we must now establish a strategy that we technically call in central bank independence. Okay, central bank independence. So if we establish that strategy, I make you sure that you will see that there is a connection between monetary stability and economic stability. Because when we talk about the economy, directly we allude to money, because money is supplied in the bank. So, of course, there is a connection, because if there is no money supply in different banks, we will not talk about economy.
Yeah. But now let's say things, since we wanted to focus in locally speaking, we want to know who is the responsible of monetary stability, the state or financial institutions.
Okay.
Because it seems that how economy is extrovert. It means that it depends on from outside. Now we want to know, whenever we talk about monetary stability, who is the responsible? That Congolese states or financial institutions like IMF, World Bank, and so forth?
Okay. Thank you very much for that question. That's also another very important question that you just put me. So, to say the truth, responsible of economic stability or monetary stability is first of all the state. Of course, yes. Institutions of monetary institutions, they have also their part of responsibility. But people who have responsibility, who have to act responsibly, okay, in order to stabilize the economy, is the state, because it members of the government or the state who has the power of establishing a law for each sectors. Reason why I said that the responsible for monetary or economic stability is the state.
Economic stability in the third world countries, so Congo as well is involved in that. So we want that things have changed. We talk a lot about this economy and so forth. So what could be done in a practical ways? Not even today, but in the days ahead, because even authorities are watching you, experts are watching you. What could you give as strategies for things to be improved in the days ahead?
Okay, thank you very much. So as a proposal, I can say that DRC is a country in a war. We can see it over there in the eastern part of our country. There is a war there. So as there is a war, that's also one of geopolitical tensions, the war. It's also sometimes imbalance, okay, the economy of our country, the imbalance. So to protect our economy stability from that tension, we must create what we call local currency to use in terms of crisis, first of all. This is what I told you about the strategy that people who live elsewhere, abroad, in developing countries should apply. But also here, we need that strategy. Why? Because we are in the country in war. As there is a war there, so that tension can also cause some an imbalance in our economy and our monetary policy. So first of all, we need to create local currency, and we need also to create more enterprises in order to produce locally. We don't need to export everything. We are a big country.
Okay. Tax payments is a crucial factor in economic stability in any given country. So why do developing countries collect so little tax? So please take a look at this following video and we'll be back.
When I talk to people in developing countries, for example, in Lusaka, where I'm from, or in Dar es Salaam, many of them feel like they're paying too much tax. Some of them are paying up to a third of their income in tax, which is comparable to what people in the UK and the US are paying. But the country as a whole is not collecting enough tax to fund development and spur on economic growth. The first reason relates to the economic structure of these countries. Many of these countries are dominated by large informal sectors, which have many small firms. Small firms are inherently difficult to tax. Some of the reasons why they are difficult to tax are that they don't keep records and they generate very low revenues. Also, the motivation to not pay tax is one of the reasons why some firms choose to remain small. I'm talking about street vendors, people who sell in the market, as well as cash-only contractors. Sometimes they generate revenue that is so low that it's not always worth it for the government to chase after them. Now, if the bulk of the economy, sometimes up to 80%, is in the informal sector, it will mean that the majority of economic activity in the country is actually not being taxed. Another reason is that government itself might not have the incentive to fix the problem. They have resources such as gas and oil, copper, diamonds, and these are fairly easy to tax sectors in that the governments are able to generate royalty payments, and therefore the incentive to tax the wider economy is reduced. Another reason is foreign aid dependency. You find that in some developing countries, the foreign aid budget can be larger than the revenue that is generated domestically. Another reason, and this is something that a lot of people inherently understand, relates to the very existence of the state. For many citizens, paying taxes is something that should come with benefits. In many developing countries, some of these benefits might not always be there. I'm thinking here of the provision of public services, the provision of things like schools and hospitals. When I talk to these same people, a question that often comes up is, why should we pay tax? We don't use the schools, there's no medicine in the hospitals, and we see corruption in the system. There is no faith in the system, and the social contract is weak. That is something that we need to fix. And until we have understood the problems, that is when we can begin to find solutions.
One of the viewers asked a question, so I wanted to put it to you right now before we conclude because we're running after time. Time and again, it reported about both macro and microeconomic stability. Several time and again, as we listen from the news and so we watch even reports and so. Why then the goods on the market and services do not reflect these facts? Economy is doing good, it's better, and now on the market, prices are not changing. So why? No concrete actions on the ground, on the market specifically.
Okay, so this is what I said earlier. So I'm going to repeat it, but by adding something new.
Something new you can add just to make things, because you want people watching get really the point where we're talking, because sometimes they wonder, no, the dollar is a rate is increasing, but the prices stay the same. So you have the opportunity to explain to them as they're watching you right now.
So as I said earlier, we need to produce locally. Why? In order to stabilize the inflation. Because if only we export everything, that will not help our economy or our local money to be stable. It will be varying all the time. Reason why we can see that the price in the market is not even stable. You will go and purchase something in supermarket, you will find it in a higher price. But when you buy the same product over there where you live in your quarter, you will buy it in another price. That's it.
Jean Sele, thank you so much for joining us. It was very important because we develop key factors of economic stability and given the third world countries. Thank you for joining us one more time.
You're welcome.
Economic stability in the third world countries. This was our today's program as we highlighted the factors and we tried to see key points. You could watch the guests on set developing some strategies. What could we do or be doing in the days ahead, specifically the Democratic Republic of Congo. It was wonderful, this program, and we look forward to, in the days ahead, to develop other issues related on economy. So please stay tuned on the second national channel, RTC du Développement. Stay with us. Keep watching. Thank you so much for watching this program. Bye. Here are some highlights of this program.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome to Brainstorm exclusive interview.
Our education should be corrected, adapted, and updated.
Live better, they can send their children to school because they can interact with their authorities.
Mix, electricity, computer science, innovation,
And we know that this brainstorm.
Yourself after watching this interesting program, notice the final statement made by our notable guest, a brand new one.